As in many cities, we have an overpopulation of cats. There's way too many cats.
I don't think people realize how many strays and ferals there are in the city. I talk to people all the time that say, oh, Thunder Bay doesn't have a feral problem or a stray problem. It's like, yeah, you just don't see them.
Something's got to be done. There's just too many animals loose out there. It's just too many animals being hurt, being cold. It's like it's helpless. It's like I can't take them all in, and I would if I could.
Cats are dumped. They're not cared for as they are with dogs. You don't see dogs being dumped in a park or out in the country like you see cats.
A lot of them don't make it through the winter. We get ones with frostbite and frostbitten ears, frostbitten paws, frostbitten tails. Ones that are frozen to the ground. You know, find them in snowbanks. It's sad. It's really sad.
How can you treat a living creature like that? You know, I think it's symptomatic of our society. You just use something and then you don't want it anymore, you throw it out.
People don't understand. You know, you get, like I say, that little ball of fluff, like the ones that are in my computer room. If you do it right, it's going to cost you $500 the first year. That free kitten off of Kijiji is going to cost you $500. And sadly, those are the ones that end up in animal services and that we get, because we don't get very many strays that are already fixed.
To spay and neuter a cat here in Thunder Bay is quite expensive, so people may adopt a kitten, raise it, and then discover that it has a litter and they can't cope and they just dump it, sadly.
Some people get an animal, a pet, for the wrong reasons. They want to just say, oh, I got a pet too, just like yours. No, you get a pet and an animal, you're going to love and respect that animal.
Well, our goal is, our mission statement is to rescue, to educate, to prevent animal cruelty, reduce the euthanasia rate at animal services. Our ultimate goal, because we're limited to the number we can pull from animal services due to the number of buffer spaces we have, we want to build a sanctuary.
We get a call to pick up cats, or, you know, their list of who they don't have room for. And it's very often 20 cats. The dog rescues, the dog rescue that works through them, might get a call to get one dog in a month. Every week we can get an email with 20 cats on it.
And we get a lot of phone calls from people who find cats in their garage or in their sheds. They have babies, or people in the country that discover cats that have been dumped, and they are really upset because they don't want to euthanize them. They don't know what to do with them. So in effect, it is a social problem because it affects a lot of people.
If your cats are out running around, for one thing, they're using your front garden or whatever as a litter box. If you've got kids who are playing outside, or if your kids have a sandbox, stray cats see that as a nice big litter box. I don't think that can be healthy. It's not healthy for the animals. They contract diseases when they're out there, whether, you know, from distemper to feline leukemia to even just upper respiratory, which is like a cat cold. But for them, if they can't smell their food and they've got a stuffed up nose, they won't eat. So, you know, you and I, a cold is just a cold. It lasts for a few days. We know we've got to take care of ourselves and still eat while we've got the cold. Like, they can't smell their food, they won't eat. They won't eat, they won't drink. They die.
I get so upset when somebody abuses their animals. I've seen a couple. I even went to the door. I was standing out there and one winter morning waiting for my bus, and this poor cat across the street was really scratching at the door. It was freezing. It was really a bitter day. So I missed my bus just to go across to knock at the door and say, do you want to let your cat in, please? She's just crying at that door. She's cold. And then the cat ran around to the back. I don't know whether she let him in or not, but I had to do that because there's so many animals around here that I see being left out in the cold that shouldn't be out in the cold, or animals like dogs being kicked around. There's so much abuse. And I'm trying to stop what I see. I'm trying to help what I see. But other than that, you just feel sad. You don't know what to do.
City of Thunder Bay has a bylaw that it's actually against the law for your cat to be running around not on a leash or not on a harness, which I don't think is very well enforced by the number of strays. But like I said, people are still letting their cats out. They go missing and they don't necessarily look for them. So it's pretty easy to go on Kijiji and get another kitten.
So people that are allowing their cats to wander in the neighborhood, like letting them out in the morning and taking them in at night, they're breaking the law. And I mean, even myself as a homeowner, I have a cat, somebody's cat in the neighborhood comes onto my property and occasionally sprays. I mean, and as a cat person, that really disturbs me.
People think cats need to be outside because they need to prowl and hunt and everything, but they're domestic now. They've been, like, the feral cats need to do that because they're wild, but these guys don't need to be. They might want to be. I know a lot of people who take their cats for walks on harnesses, and that's good. Or you may have seen at Cindy's, the cat house she has attached. Those are big, so their cats, they still get the best of both worlds, right? They can go outside in a screened-in environment, but they're safe. If you really, really, really feel your cat needs to go outside, then either train it to go on a harness or get the cat enclosure built onto your house. So you can open a window and they can go outside and then they can come back in.
So for the stray and abandons, whether they're ex-family pets or ferals, they're brought into animal services. They're kept there for 5 days. There's a law that's called the Pound Act that describes how the animals are to be treated and the length of time they're supposed to be kept. So they're kept there for 5 days. Any stray and abandoned, they have a voicemail where it's recorded what cats have been brought in case somebody's looking for them. And sometimes they have pictures available, but mostly it's a pre-recording. The public can go in any time at Animal Services when they're open to look in the stray room to see if their lost cat is there. But it's not very common that owners come and pick up their cats. So as a result, after the 5 days are up, cats are sent to be euthanized. All of us will get an email saying these many cats are going to go, and they tell us the age, what they look like, their gender, whether they're already spayed, and they list them. And then we have 72 hours from that day, so we have a couple of days to decide whether or not we're able to take any, and then we have another day or so to remove them.
Sometimes we can take everybody on the list, and we scramble to try and do it, because how do you pick and choose? Yeah, how do you say, I'll save your life, but I won't save your life? Because that, for us, that rips your heart out. It doesn't matter. It's, maybe a cat that's going to be hard to adopt out or something, but it's how do you say, you know what, I'm going to save you and I'm not going to save you.
I think anybody with a heart that goes into whether it's a humane society or the city pound and looks at those animals staring out from between the bars, who are wondering why they're there, where their families are, and knowing and sensing that something's happening and something's going to happen to them, because some are disappeared, the next day or the other day, and they're wondering where they. That's what people have to do. They have to go in and see for themselves. And if you can't be touched by that, I don't know who you are, but it's pretty powerful. And that's why we do what we do, because we can't abide by that.
One of the nice things, though, too, with kitty care is if you're looking to adopt, you can find some of the older cats, maybe not kittens, and when they're in kitty care's care, they will take care of the vet, of the spay and neuter costs if that animal reaches the age where it needs to be taken care of. the 2 black ones I had were both spayed by Kitty Care because they were with me for 6 months. So they were both fixed when they got adopted. So one way to curb those, or to avoid those costs, I guess, is to adopt a cat that has been spayed or neutered. But then also remember that someone has paid for those costs.
There's got to be something that we can do. We can all chip in. If we can donate something of our whatever, our time, our money, or whatever, that would be helpful.
I think you do what you can. For me, like I've had 33 kittens come through here. I've adopted one. I have 2 of my own, so I'm giving a good life to those 2. And I mean, it's an overwhelming problem to be tackled. And I think if each individual person can do something to, help just a little bit, it would snowball and you'd see a lot better situation than there is.
I think people need to know the impact that not spay-neutering your pet has on society. That your taxpayers are paying for the euthanizing of animals. Taxpayers are paying for the sheltering of these stray and abandoned animals. Once they know that so many lives are being lost, perhaps that, but also educating people to value cats and why they're important and why they're special to a lot of people.
Now Kitty Care is saving 700 cats. I saw in their recent newsletter that you now have 700, well, let's say at least 700 people that have adopted a cat from Kitty Care. That good chance now they may follow them. They may, they follow their newsletter, follow them on Facebook.
Dear Kitty Care, I named her Angel. Thank you very much for my pretty cat. She is so great. She plays with me and she lets me brush her. I fed her and gave her a treat because she is so nice. She is the best. I will love and care for her forever, and I will not let her get out of my house. I promise. We took pictures. Thanks for my cat.
Everybody has to care about the animal they have in their house. Be a cat or a dog. I mean, you have to value them. Don't just open the door and say, yeah, you're not a cute little baby anymore. I mean, you wouldn't do that to your children. Don't do it to your animals either. They're part of the family.
Whether you adopt or wherever you get them from, it's the joy that they can bring you, as long as you're willing to put in the effort and be there for them.